Hi again. Wanted to talk today about how to transition to plant-based whole food eating. There's so much research and information coming from MDs today about the benefits of plant-based whole foods for greater health and well-being. So how do we make the shift? It's really simple. You just get aware of what all the inflammatory foods are that we're now ingesting and let go of one of those groups of foods each week. So in 4 or 5 weeks, you're eating all plant-based whole foods. So what are these? Processed food that we are living on, these drive-through experiences, really harm the body over time.
Well, that and anything in a box, in a can, in a jar, anything that has a label on it has been processed. It is not the whole food.
It's not the whole food for me.
The nature of processing is such that it creates an inflammatory nature to that food when we eat it.
Yeah.
Which is responsible for so many problems today.
It's true. Then animal, dairy, cheese, yes, is a very difficult food for
That
the
was
body.
my nemesis. When I met Connie and was in so much pain, she said, well, why don't you let go of the dairy? I thought, well, what would that have to do with this pain?
Mm.
And in 2 weeks, it was like 80% gone. I was, oh, I'm a believer.
And then after dairy, and we've got sugar, which is in so many foods today, and then caffeine, artificial sweeteners, and free oils in a bottle. Most of them are inflammatory. A couple of good ones are avocado oil. You can utilize that for cooking, low in saturated fat. And olive oil can be used after cooking. It's not a cooking oil. So that's basically the groups. Now, a lot of people will decide to let go of alcohol. I didn't list that one, but that's key. And it makes a huge difference in how they feel and in their mental clarity. And then the next week, they'll give up alcohol and animal. And then the next week, alcohol, animal, and dairy, and on like that. And this way, you get to use your own body's wisdom to determine whether or not these foods are good or bad for you. You don't have to believe anyone else. Try it out, let it go for a week, and see how you feel. It is so self-evident, so clearly convincing once you give your body a chance to show you how it performs when you feed it plant-based whole food so it can thrive and have mental clarity and a very, very high energy level. So switch, give it a try, see how your body responds and what it signals you, and begin to experience the benefits of eating high nutrient dense, plant-based whole foods.
Yeah, when I first met Connie, I thought I was eating a healthy diet, even though I had a lot of pain when I played volleyball. And I was a lacto-vegetarian back in the 80s. That was like, oh, this is cutting edge. You know, I'm really doing a good thing for my body. And when I look at the inflammatory groups, well, I wasn't doing alcohol and caffeine, but there was plenty of dairy in there. That was a big one. And there was plenty of processed. So I could eat pizzas all day long and feel like I was fulfilling this desire to have a healthy diet. And when I look at it from the inflammatory side, I see, my goodness, no wonder there was all that pain there. So I was high in processed, I was high in dairy, I was high in sugar. Yeah, I mean, ice cream works for lacto-vegetarian, you know? So I dropped all those, and it's just so amazing how different it can be when our bodies are given the whole foods that are not inflammatory. And so, you know, we can become aware of what's inflammatory and leave those out. And the other side of the coin is just to look at the food you're eating, and is it whole? Is it close to nature? Is it a whole avocado or is it avocado oil? is it a whole piece of fruit, or is it fruit juice? And actually, fruit juice is very kind of still in a pretty good category, but is it whole grains, or is it a flour pastry with sugar? So in a way, we don't even have to know what the inflammatory groups are. If I eat what is in its whole form, and I want to be aware of that animal and dairy are inflammatory, so I would leave those out, and everything else is in its whole form, I've got it.
Yeah, and the liver, you want to really support your liver because it's the major detoxing organ in the body. And it has a very difficult time with free oils or a high oil diet. And also cheese. Cheese is so difficult for the body to digest. So take this journey, see what you experience, and if you have any questions, you can connect with us below. The recipe today is called spicy baby lima beans, and we had it last night for dinner. It was so good. So give your body a chance also to show you how it responds to these whole food forms of protein, like baby lima beans. And I think you'll be surprised.